responsibility to. Good morning, fellow Nigerians, both home and abroad. I bring you greetings from the Nigerians in Diaspora Organization, China chapter. As the acting president, it is my responsibility to respond to a recent matter that has not just gone viral, but has also stirred up a very deep concerns within our community here. Recently, a video surfaced showing a group of Chinese in Nigeria filming themselves as they lined up our national police force and handed them money interchangeably. Perhaps this video was intended differently. It was posted on a Chinese public platform, the WeChat. And since then, it has been widely circulated both here in China and in Nigeria. Let me just be very clear. This video has caused a very big embarrassment, not just to the Nigerian police force, but to the dignity of our nation and its people, particularly to us in the diasporans here. It has sparked conversations about our integrity, our sovereignty, and about how our institutions are perceived globally. After a group of diasporans who saw this, said, no, this isn't right. We can't be embarrassed like this. We lobbied, we reported these videos, we private chatted the people that posted this video, and it was deleted finally on WeChat. The video was taken down on WeChat. This said video had a lot of comments under it. Even the Chinese locals here questioned the people that posted this video. Why would they do what they cannot do here in China? Why would they do it abroad? I mean, who gave them the authority to do that? We did. We gave them the authority to do that in our own country. This is a no. This is unacceptable. This is unacceptable because it raises several concerns. First of all, this action sends a damaging message about the autonomy and the professionalism of our national police force. This can totally undermine the diplomatic standards of engagement between China and Nigeria. This action also reinforces a very dangerous perception that the national institutions in Africa are very much up for patronage. Nigerians, we must never allow our pride, our institutions, or even our sovereignty to be used for such performative acts. This only reduces us to participants of charity. We're not beggars. We're not begging. We can't be begging with such a place where people of wealth, people of knowledge comes from. We must demand mutual respect in all our international dealings, not just handouts. We're not charity beggars. Nigerian police force, we cannot be doing that. We cannot do that. Because you are in the forefront. Whatever you do represents us. Please, to our leaders and all that is concerned in this matter, this is a wake-up call. We are begging you guys to double down on the reforms that protect our national pride. We can't continue to have the civilians no more better than the people in the police force. We can't have the civilians remind the police force, which is supposed to be in the forefront, what to do always. This is not right. We are begging you guys to please retrain our police force, retrain them on their identity, on what they are to do and what they are not to do. This is getting out of hand. It is getting out of hand. Thank you so much to all the Nigerian diasporan communities who came out to fight against such disgrace until that video was taken down. And we are even trying to do more. We're trying to make sure that such kind of videos does not always surface on WeChat, and we have to go and fight them to take it down. We should stop it from home. And this is not just only in Nigeria. I've seen a lot of Chinese people go to different African countries, do as they like, misbehave, and post it on WeChat and say, this is Africa. This is not Africa, for crying out loud. Can we share this video to get to the right places, to get to the right people?
Ontura naki Tinubu. Tinubu gaji naka. Kuni anam. Wallahi mun shaka nono ga kudi. Ga nono ga kudi. Ya za a rena da banka. Nono kudi banka alaji kudi ne ga maka alaji do.
Okay, this women protest in Port Harcourt. Jesus, so mercy crowd. Oh my Jesus. Yes. Oh my. Well, I don't know. I think it's a protest. MB have mentions. Okay, I think it's a protest, ongoing protest. River State's economy suffers under Ibas. Jesus. Oh, mercy crowd. Jesus. Oh my see crowd. Wow. Yes, so we want him. Guy, the thing, I don't feel the thing called the cash me too. Jesus. Oh, more. No River State. I swear. One more. Woo! How they catch me.
Okay, so with that being said, after today, you must travel internationally using a U.S. passport. All right, it's very important in this climate. You must travel internationally using a U.S. passport. Okay? If you leave on your foreign passport and then try to come back on the U.S. passport because someone sent it to you, you're in trouble. Alright? So get your passport before you leave. Travel on your U.S. passport. You're a U.S. citizen after 2 days. Alright? Get it? You guys can apply for your U.S. passport by going to Department of State.gov, printing the form, and then going to your local post offices or your local county offices.
Because it embraces what America fears most, real labor. While the West chases branding and financial bubbles, China built an entire empire on actual production. And now their rise exposes a fatal flaw in white capitalism's disdain for work. For centuries, white economic elites have structured society around avoiding labor, while extracting it from others. Enslaved Africans built the global South's wealth, while European aristocrats and plantation owners positioned themselves
No, this rally make my blood pressure go up.
So you should get a filter sometimes, filter your thoughts before you say.
I'll continue to take blood pressure medication.
Why are you getting high blood pressure, Jonava? Now,
I'm not taking medication for myself. I'm taking it for people like Paula, some of you guys that after the January, February something, and then people like Soludo, that is a good spoiler. I thank God for his life. He's working for my godfather.
And I am ready to die defending Nigeria in whatever way. When it is God's time for us to go, it is
you
not
took my time to God. You are ready to defend Nigeria. I gave you my time.
No, I'm coming.
Alexi, hold on. You already started.
What I'm saying, defending Nigerians is this.
I gave him my time and he's using it to defend Nigeria.
That's a good question. That's a great question. I don't know what is wrong with him. I don't know what is wrong with him. Somebody is asking for where you do your course and you are sure you did your course there. I agree with you. But a lot of what we hear, because you didn't hear this direct from Tinubu, because lawyers are very funny. Sometimes lawyers will say, you must not say this. I mean, you know what is happening to Donald Trump right now? Donald Trump that guy is walking himself to jail. And he's coming down to say that, it was my lawyer who said it. It was your lawyer who said it. It was your lawyer who said that you should march people to the Capitol and stage a coup. People who stage coup in Nigeria, they never live to tell the story. That's what I tell them. They never live to tell the story. They are summarily tried within a short time and sent to jail or made to face the firing squad. That is the way it works. But it's only in America where somebody put a gun to your head and you say, all right, you are quoting the First Amendment right. What is First Amendment right? What is it? I don't understand. So
I hope that Nigeria wins. I'm never going to wish any president evil so that I can say I told you so. No, I won't wish them evil. I hope. You see, I'm not praying. There's no point. I can't pray for Nigeria to be fine. I only hope that Nigeria wins and Nigerians win. Because if you choose a dodgy doctor who has a dodgy record, who has, all sort of accusations leveled against him, to say this doctor, we think he's done this, or this doctor, this surgeon, yes, he's a senior surgeon, he's the most whatever surgeon, but there are a lot of accusations leveled against him. If you choose him to operate on you, and you tell me to pray for you that it doesn't kill you surgery, what's the point? I can't pray. You might make it, you might not make it. My prayer won't change anything. So I hope Nigeria and Nigerians win during Tinubu's 4 years. Thank you.
don't forget, that state is now an oil producing state.
So they now have derivation, if you are not aware. So if you want to speak for anybody, please do not defend a character like Yabelo. Please do not.
Okay, let me respond to him. One
but
second.
Do not defend a character like Yabelo. Do not.
All right, thank you, Mohammed.
The people of that state.
Can I respond to him?
No.
Then go to hell. Rudolph, go to hell.
All right.
Rudolph, I've never seen this part of him before. My God.
Tinubu is a criminal, yes, of course, a categorical grade 1 criminal. The only person more criminal than Tinubu in Nigeria is probably Babangida. But he's a criminal, and is he fit for purpose? Absolutely not. Should Tinubu be the president of Nigeria? Categorical no. Is there a better option than him? That is subjective. So show me who he is.
All right. Thank you so much for joining us today. Welcome to the show. My name is Rudolph Okonkwo. It's Saturday, April the 19th, 2024. It's a beautiful day here in New York City. We are here live. Temperature is 84. People are going crazy in April. And I hope it's wonderful wherever in the world you're joining us. Thank you for making out the time, and happy Easter to all of you. We are going to start our show, and it's going to be a 3-hour of conversation around key issues concerning us, Nigerians, Africans, and those all over the world. We start with Tinubu extended his stay in Europe. He moved from France to the UK. So we're going to talk about what that means as the country goes through one of those most difficult periods of insecurity. The president is running the country from Europe. We're going to talk about that, what it means for the country, especially people in Benue and Plateau, where there's been a series of killings. And other stories coming to America, Trump has continued on his path. It's not up to 100 days in office, but everybody's tired. Even the Supreme Court, which today ruled that he should stop deporting people under the old 18-something rule. We're going to talk about what it means, what he has been able to achieve in the last 90-something days or close to that. And what it means for Africa, especially with stories coming out of Congo, where the government of Congo basically is handing over their resources to the Americans so they could secure the country. We'll get into that. Coming back to Nigeria, there is another Ponzi scheme that just happened. A lot of people lost their money. People are crying. People are complaining, and the EFCC is promising Nigerians that they will come in and get back their money. I can't wait for that. We are going to touch on that. Other stories in the country. In Nigeria, there is, of course, the political movement is still going on between the parties, and the PDP governors are split. So we'll touch on that. This morning we had a story out of Bauchi that the deputy governor of Bauchi State decided to give the minister for external affairs a slap at a public event. Is something that should tell us about the political situation up north. Of course, our man Wike is making news. He's talking about the removal of Fubara. To him, it wasn't even what he wanted. He wanted a permanent removal, not this emergency rule. So these and other stories are what we are going to touch on, and I'm counting on you guys to bring me up to date on those I missed. I know there are so many stories out of Nigeria, so we'll get into it. Thank you. I can see the studio is There are people in the studio. If you want to come on, turn on your camera, we will let you on. Thank you so much for joining us. Righteous Man, thank you.
Yeah, Rudolph, good evening. And all the panelists, good evening. Happy Easter. Is a moment of reflection, and I know that the good Lord will meet every one of us in Jesus' name.
All right, Chim, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Rudolph, and happy Easter.
Yeah.
I was just going to tease you this morning to say this is Easter. Akpabio in his parliament always drops a lot in prayers. I don't know why Rudolph.
No. It's going to happen live. Make sure you have your bank app open, and I'm talking to Indaboski. The power will come from somewhere. I don't have the power. Indaboski will. So I have that under control. Don't worry about it.
Oh yeah, it's good to be with you guys. At least I'm home today, so I
yeah, nice to see you. Nice to see you. You delivered.
Our dear Sultan.
Oh yes. Go ahead.
Yeah, our dear Sultan says that we are terrorists. That you and I are terrorists, and how can you miss that? That's one. Then
I know. I actually have that on my headlines, but I forgot. Yeah. That's something. That's something.
That the other one is they will not give me appointment in CBN. They will not give me appointment in NMPC, but they want me to go to Sambisa Forest. Can you imagine? I don't know how they want me to do that. So those are the two areas I thought we forgot.
All right. Thank you. I like that. I totally forgot the Igbo not joining the military. All right. Building together. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much for having me here this afternoon. Happy Easter weekend to everyone. And I hope we're doing great.
Yeah, we are. Where are you joining us? I don't remember. Seeing you when I'm on
building together.
Yeah.
Myself.
Where are you joining us from?
I think I'm a stone throw from you.
Oh, okay. I mean, you're in the good part of America.
I'm in the Bronx.
In the Bronx. Oh, okay. The good part of America. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Those people from Texas, we don't really like them, All right. So any story I'm missing that is important to you?
No, I think I heard what you said as far as the headlines are concerned. I think there are enough story for 3 hours.
Okay. Of course, the big one, I think we could start from there until we get the Americans. There are some people I'm waiting for before we go into Trump. I know Chim is in Canada, and Chim, you're about to have an election in Canada. How is it going?
Not we're about to. The election is ongoing.
Wait. How many days do you have elections?
It's like you people. It's like what you do. It's the same strategy. So you have recently is that they added a third. Like usually you have advanced voting.
Okay. Okay.
So yesterday advanced voting started yesterday and will end on Monday.
Okay.
But the election day proper is on the 28th.
Okay.
So, but before today, last week we had they decided to create a situation where campus students. So a lot of people turn 18, but you turn 18, you live in New York, but you go to school in Texas. And then, so they want to give them opportunity. So what they did was they opened up the process so that when you show your postal code, then they'll be able to pull out a device for you to vote for your people in that place where you live, unless you want to vote for a candidate in that location. So there are people who are not where they live. They try to create that opportunity for them. So in universities and workplaces, they introduce that one of the newest methods they've introduced. But the elections are on right now.
I read somewhere that the liberals, I don't know the names of the parties, the conservatives were ahead before Trump came into office. now because of Trump that the Canadians moved back to the liberal side? I mean, opinion polls. What is going on now?
Yes. Okay. So if we take it from how the media is structuring it, then you're correct. The Conservatives had a huge polling lead when Trudeau was there. Everybody was tired of the man, and somehow he resigned. And then the story now we're hearing that this new person, who has never held any political office in his entire life, is now leading somebody who has been making. So we don't still know how true that is. But the point is that from polling, there people are saying that the baby boomers are the ones who are flipping to this liberal guy, because he used to be the central bank governor of Canada. That's your Federal Reserve. And then he went to UK and became the central bank governor of the UK. So he was actually the central bank governor of the UK when when Liz Truss came in, and Liz Truss has been against him. Liz Truss has been saying, Canadians don't vote this person. He's a dangerous, he wrecked my economy and put me into crisis. But the point is, I think let's watch and see what's going on. I think the baby boomers are the ones who feel, okay, they want a so-called steady hand. And the liberals have been riding on the fear-mongering of, Trump wants to make us a state. We are the ones fighting him. The Conservatives are like him, don't vote them. So let's watch and see. By 28, we will know if it is all media hype or if it was really true. But the gap is not really that much as they try to make it look. I don't also believe that anybody wants to vote for anybody who places too much taxes on them. This is what the liberals do. The Conservatives are saying we'll cut taxes, we'll remove all the things that have been taking money away from your pocket. So I don't see how that promise will not make anybody want to vote for them. But hey, again, this is politics. We never know how it goes. So yeah, that's the situation right now.
So
then lastly, the other question you asked, we have four key parties. You have the Conservatives and the Liberals, which are like your
Democrats and Republicans.
Exactly. Then you now have what they call the New Democratic Party. They've held power only once. They are actually far left of left. So if you think the Liberals are bad, these ones are out of the moon. Their ideas are quite crazy, you understand? And then you now have the Quebecois Party, which is only a party in one particular place. I don't even understand why they give them national prominence. They don't have any presence anywhere else except Quebec, but they are called a national party. So it's one of those Canadian politics I don't seem to understand. They're in a way to please them. They allow them to have national prominence. So sometimes they pull the trigger. They become the beautiful bride that whoever doesn't win majority now aligns with them and then forms government with them. That's what they stand to do. They lean towards either conservative or liberal, depending on who their leader is per time.
Okay, very good. Righteous Man, you are going to have Easter without Tinubu. Are people lining up around his house now in Lagos, or there's nobody there because Tinubu is not around? Are you in Lagos?
Rudolph, they whine me.
Are you in Lagos? Have you? You should go and get a spot around Tinubu's house. The fact that he's not in the country does not mean that the normal distribution will not happen.
Rudolph, let me greet my very good brother. Happy Easter. And the other of my brother there, good evening from Nigeria. Rudolph is always making somebody laugh. Rudolph, there were some posts you made that were too good. I sent it to one professor, and he was asking, he just want to know more of you and, have a talk with you. So I will message you, then we'll discuss about it. There was one post you made, it was too fantastic, So back to the issue of Nigeria. I deliberately decided to stop appearing regularly because the much we discuss about Nigeria, the much we become divided. We've not reached 60% or even 50% consensus that Nigeria needs a surgical operation to change everything that is happening in this country. And it seems as if we rather go on tribal sentiment or religious sentiment than facing the reality on ground. You see, Nigeria is in a very desperate need of leadership. I'm telling you, since I was born, I have never seen Nigeria be at the level it is today. I've seen many Christmas and many Easters. This period is the worst time in the history of Nigeria. The only people that can tell you there is no problem with Nigeria are people who are stealing government money, the people's money. Whether you're a politician or you're a civil servant, or you are a contractor with government or multinational corporation, they are the people that will tell you, well, Nigeria, everything is well. But to ordinary man in this country, to pepper seller, tomato seller, to that driver, keke rider, to that bricklayer, to that carpenter, to that man who opens his shop and sells tires and the rest of it, to a nurse, a medical doctor, to a teacher, to a policeman, life is quite unbearable. I know that you must have seen the post where the policeman was lamenting and begging Nigerians to come for their rescue. I think it's viral, it's on the social media, everywhere. That will explain to you the condition of Nigerians today. This is the worst Easter I have ever witnessed in my life. You go to market, it's empty because there is no money. The economy, the inflation is at 24% now. We are at almost, is it hyperinflation or runaway inflation? That's where we are now. And to worsen everything, the insecurity in Nigeria, even in Lagos State here, I know maybe you must have heard it that the police arrested about some good number of people they claimed, allegedly claimed, they are Boko Harams in Lagos. Is on news. So the country is bleeding, and it's quite unfortunate that our president, your president that you elected and you supported and campaigned for, that he abandoned his country and now went to relax. They say it's 2 weeks walking visit. And we've not seen any meeting he have had with any group of businessmen or investors that shows it's a walking visit. And it was quite embarrassing here that while he was arriving France, as we are told, the president of France was leaving France to Egypt. It was quite embarrassing. So when you say a walking visit, it means an official government-to-government visit and the rest of it. So it's embarrassing. It's disheartening. Sultan of Sokoto said that social media is a terrorist organization. In fact, that's what is trending on Nigerian media today. They're discussing about it. How did social media become a terrorist organization? So in Nigeria now, if you do not know, in fact, you must choose your words for you to make a statement. If not, you'll be labeled a terrorist. For social media to be labeled a terrorist organization, we are afraid. We don't know where we're heading to. The CPC bloc in APC, they are pulling out of APC. They say they want to join the coalition, to form a new government 2027. So there is no aspect of the Nigerian society today that is healthy, politically and otherwise. Everything is just in pieces. The song released by Abdul Karim Idris, It caused a range of fire here. And I don't think they have been able, they ban it on national televisions and radio. But I tell you, it's the most trending music song right now in Nigeria, you know, that even in the buses, people are singing it. So it's not been a good time. It's not been a time to rejoice. Our hope and trust is that peradventure, God Almighty will stretch forth his hand on individuals and they have a living. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Righteous Man, for that update. And let me, building together, hold on, okay, just 1 minute, I'll come to you. Let me say hi to Ovie. Ovie, welcome to the show.
Wassalamu alaikum, Jamaa.
I saw that you are drinking pure water, and then I saw smoke coming out of your car.
No, is that why you took me? No, I wasn't. I didn't know what. See,
and then smoke came up. I said, "What?"
No. Maybe I should ask. Me and you now, who they smoke? Who's I? No, I wasn't smoking.
All right. So,
but I give you money to buy toothbrush.
So, Ovie, we are talking about just to give you a chance to talk about what's of interest to you before we go to the proper conversation. Go ahead.
What is of interest to me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. The most important topic you saw this last week that is of interest to you.
Yeah, man, this is a lot of things happening, but I think everything is driven by America's moving to the next stage. I think the fact that they are walking away from Ukraine, whether it's a threat or not, that is yet to be seen. So, and the negotiation that is going on between the US and Iran over the nuclear weapon. So to me, I think that's where my area of interest or focus has been. On the home front, nothing. I don't think nothing important happening on the home front. Just noise and distraction, as far as I'm concerned. So I don't know. Maybe I'm missing anything, but as far as I'm concerned, on the home front, nothing new, nothing important.
So you had this podcast today about information warfare and recolonization of Africa. What was the idea behind that? Who's information warfare? What information warfare?
Yes, the fact that again, if you look at it from what we are talking about, boils down to the headline we're talking about the fact that Bola Tinubu is away, to submit reports, the VDM and all that kind of a thing. At a point whereby everything that we know today is changing to our own detriment, if you ask me, because that's where my idea of information warfare come from. Because if you just pay attention, just take attention away from the Nigerian space, you will ask yourself, are we living on the same planet? Talking about what people that matters, when I people that matters, the leaders of the countries, what occupies their policies and discussions and how they move forward. It's totally different on our own front. So, as far as I'm concerned, this is driven by the kind of information we consume, which and the motivating factor of all the information we consume today is money. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, the guest that you have on Sunday is one of the most consequential guests on this platform, based on what he was able to articulate. Because other than the fact that we are living on information age, information world that we live in today, but history is already been written, and we are they are doing it using us, writing our own story in that does not relate to the reality of what we are talking about. I mean, let me use what is even what just transpired here. What the message you highlight of Kulata. Righteous man, he's speaking to the reality of today, Nigerian today, And he was very precise. He put contents, he mentioned teachers, ordinary Nigerians, their reality. But here we are, Kulata is highlighting an individual who got hundreds of millions of dollars as a contract at the expense of how many million Nigerian youths? If you are pointing at someone who only God know who that person is, even if it's real. Let's say even if it's real, let's even put the Nigerian youth today who are jobless, who are in the labor market but can't find a job at 20 million. You would not be wrong. But somebody is using 1 out of 20 million of his exploit ability. So when you now look at that, you ask yourself, are we actually, is this the story we are going to tell 60 years from now? Because if we look back 60 years ago, you will ask yourself, the narrative that is coming out of the Nigerian space, is it real? Now, take it 60 years forward. What kind of story are we going to be telling of 2025 when the world is actually inching towards Third World War? All we talk about in our one space is VDM, right? Is Bola Tinubu has gone to France. It's still that as it has no bearing to what is before us, even from the outside. So that informed what I come to my conclusion on information warfare. We have been attacked from every angle. There's a video that I actually used to actually buttress my point, which is of David Undein, talking about how the empire is falling and how the Chinese are trying to overpower. Now, that is not even the message, but the background video is 100% AI generated.
All right. Ovia, we'll get
now,
to
it is designed to paint a different narrative from the Chinese angle. The American soft power, we all are aware of the USID. Now, the shenanigans that is happening in terms of securing this island, that is, you can't take Russia away from there. So those are the angles that are bombarding us. There is no our own original experience and story is being subdued, just like what Kulata is trying to do to rational mind.
All right. Thank you, Ovia. We'll get to that when we talk about Trump and the international angle of this story. Let me say hi to Stay Humble. Welcome to the show.
Yeah, good evening.
Yeah, how are you?
I'm okay. Just waiting.
All right. Happy Easter to you.
Hectic week.
A hectic week. I hope
Same to you.
I hope you're going to have a vacation these 2 days or 3.
Yeah.
So, is there any story that is of interest to you so far this week?
Well, a host of stories.
Well, pick one, just one.
Which I didn't really have much time to delve into in detail, but I think you've outlined some of them. Trump. Yeah, everyday Trump, really. For you guys in the US, I think Trump always makes the headline. I don't know why. You guys don't really add any of these Kemi or Nigel Farage, any of these funny guys in this country. It's fine. So, Sultan and his noise again. Yeah, I don't know. Well, the thing is that some of these things should not even make the headline because we should not dignify some of these guys even with attention, to be honest. Some of these so-called elites or who call themselves elites.
Who are the we you are talking about? Are you talking about the newspapers or we here?
No, but from we here, which is a microcosm of the larger, society, I would say. So,
let me tell you how I look at this. When the newspapers, if Sultan is going somewhere, newspapers will send someone to go and cover him. So they have to write a story about what he said.
Okay.
They can come up with 3 stories and the newspaper will say this is the main story and they publish it. Now, the decision to discuss it on platforms like this is left for the people who are running the platform. But if you don't, there's a reason. I'm more interested in knowing why did he say that? There's something that made him say that. That's something we want to hear about because this thing touched him to the point that he felt that he can't control this. You have to look at it from that point. This is something they can't control. That's why they are saying this is a terrorist organization. because they can control that. They can probably control the papers. They probably can control the, if you look at newspapers in the north or even in the south, they can control that, but they may not be able to control it. So to them, it's a terrorist organization. Anyway, we can talk about it later. Let me just, I think we have to start.
Then, I think there's a burning issue which we didn't really, last week, wasn't it? Or was it this week that the First Lady visited one of the states in Nigeria for a one of those jamboree trips, and a vehicle in her convoy was said to have hit and killed a girl. And this did not even, the mainstream media, as expected, did not give it the attention.
But she has come out to deny it. Her office has denied it. The army has denied it. I'm not holding forth for her, but they've denied that they didn't kill anybody.
So our responsibility is to try and unearth the detail, because the girl was killed when she visited Osun State. So if probably she didn't visit Osun State, the girl will be alive, and she has not. If she was sensitive, if she was if she was sensitive and human, a soul has died, so she should have been empathetic. She should at the least pay a visit, issue a statement. Someone had died. It's not just a statistic. It's a human being. It was a human being that's been killed. So so we are saying that what I'm saying is that it's not just about the army. We expected the army again to deny it, the police and whatever, mainstream media. We expected them to deny it. So we didn't expect them to accept. We expected them to deny it. So again, it's our responsibility. It's our responsibility to call them out, to say, look, we know your shenanigans, we know your antics, but this time around, we want you to be accountable to the people that you are ruling over, despite the fact that they were not elected. So that's my point. Then Quadri, the historic, guy who stood before Peter Obi's convoy and who was illegally detained by the corrupt police, has been released. And I think we should discuss that, because that points to the...
Why was he detained?
So it's... so that's your job to now x-ray.
No, I'm asking you. You follow the story. Why was he detained? Okay, we can't hear you. Stay humble. All right, I'll come back to you. Let me say hi to Pansat. Pansat, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Rudolph and fellow panelists. Happy Easter in advance.
Happy Easter to you. So we're about to start our first conversation, but I want to hear from you. Any issue that we have not touched that you think is very important that happened last week?
Well, for all the times that I go over time, I'm going to yield so that you can start your show on time, and then you make it up to me when it's my turn next. So go ahead. Don't say I don't do anything for you, Rudolph.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Okay, building together. You wanted to say something.
Yes. Once again, thank you so much for this opportunity to be here. This is actually my first time being on your platform, even though, this particular platform, even though I've known you for years, we protest together, carry banner and all those things. But I'm so happy to be here this afternoon. And at my age and with what I've observed in life, I think sometimes I found myself as a lone ranger. Can you hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Yes, as a lone ranger, in the sense that I made it a point that I'm not going to lie to myself before even thinking of lying to other people. See, when you talk about leadership, the way we talk about it, to me, is totally different. I don't know if it's because of my professional background. I'm a wartime veteran of U.S. Air Force and also transformed into being a law enforcement officer in the city of New York, also working for the government. And I'm also a grassroots individual. So when you talk of leadership, our focus is always on those people that were selected. I wouldn't say they elected, but I still believe they're meant to be there no matter what. But we're all leaders in our own domain. For somebody like me, I think I've attained a certain position where if I speak in my own village, they will listen to everything that I want to say. So the onus is on me to now educate them the right thing and not just about propaganda. So all these issues of leadership, and I always turn to people when I have opportunity like this. In your own village, in your own town, what role are you playing? Do you have a voice as you have it on, let's say, virtual platform like this? Will you be able to go to your place and say something and people will know that, yes, uncle is talking, brother is talking, whatever I say, let us do it. Tinubu is out on a working, whatever, visit or holiday. That shouldn't bother anybody. That shouldn't concern so much that everybody will be talking about. When we say somebody is on a working visit, it doesn't mean that he's on an official visit to meet the other guy. It means even while he was there, he can still get involved in conversation that has to do with his own office, because it has happened to me before by my own position. I'm not in the office, but at the same time, they can still call me on my holiday, on my leave, to delve into what I'm supposed to do. That's a working visit. Or maybe if you're on a working lunch, you're actually on lunch, but at the same time, they can still reach out to you if it's so important. So if we, especially elite like us, educated individual, well-informed individual like us, are thinking the country will stop because of one man, then we have a problem. Tinubu is not my governor. I'm from Ondo State. He's not my senator. He's not my House of Rep. He's not my local government chair. He's not even my Oba. So why is it that I cannot take care of my local area? And we're talking about just that man that I don't even know. Some of us don't even know how the government operates, other than propaganda. So when we talk about leadership, I also want to point the fact that there is what we call generational shift. If you in 2025, you are assuming that things should be the way it was in 1960, then you have a problem. If you in 2025, you're assuming that things should be the way of Buhari, who just left the office, you have a problem. The problem with Nigeria is not Nigeria, it's the problem of the whole world. I just left Nigeria last week, and I said to myself, to an extent, Nigeria is relatively okay compared to where I live. I could go and I leave Lagos. This time around, there's no traffic. People say it's because of oil and no petrol, fuel, cost of petrol. Before it wasn't like that. And I saw a whole lot of infrastructure that have been put in place that were not there before. I was driving the whole of the area. The only people that I see are maybe Lasma and all those things. But in the city of New York, you put your leg on that pedal, you see a police everywhere. Just in my own neighborhood, they killed somebody 2 days in a row. About 3-4 people died. But you don't see that at home. But when I was traveling from Lagos to Benin, I think about 10 kilometers away from Benin, every inch of the road is roadblock. And I was wondering, why was it that from Lagos, we didn't see as many police as this? But from here to Benin, we have problem. It's because the place has been criminally infested. And I think people in that area should be concerned for themselves, not just saying Nigeria is bad, Nigeria is bad. So the point I'm making here to us is that let's turn the radar to ourselves. What are we really doing to help ourselves? The space called Nigeria is a blessed space. The problem of that space is the Nigerians. Even though some of us that are here on the platform, if you are not able to deliver what people expected of you by your status, because you are an uncle, because you are educated, because you are in one office, If you cannot do it right, please, you're also part of the problem. Every place in Nigeria now, there's no freebie. Anything you want to do, they want to charge you. This guy, just to check my email in his computer because my battery was down, he said, I need to pay 50,000. I said, for what? He said, for me to help you log on there. I said, hey, I can do that on my phone. I just want to give you opportunity to get something. But he wanted to charge 50,000. What service did you provide that will make you to charge me 50,000? And I look at it, he's a young man too. And if I'm not in the know, he will take advantage of me. And that is what I see in Nigeria, sir. There's no man here. People are taking advantage of each other. When you now get to where you need service, that's when you feel it. But when it's in your own doorstep, you also do it to others. So it's not Tinubu that is everywhere. What are we doing in our own local area? How many times have you visited your village, your town, and tell them, oh, this is what we got to do. This is what is going on. I'll give you my example, one example, and I'll stop. I went to my old school, primary school. They have no teachers. When I asked them what happened, oh, they said there are no teachers, this, that. I said, okay, what do we do? Where are the parents that send these kids to school that you will not check your children's material and say, what did you study in school today? No parent was doing that. They keep sending those kids to school, but there was no teacher. So I just felt moved that, okay, this is what I finished for. I said, what do we do? Let's look for community teachers. How much are they paying for teachers at primary school? 15,000 naira. 15,000 naira? I decided that, okay, I'll pay 20. But when we eventually hired the teachers, I was actually giving them 25. Because I look at it, well, how much is 25 going to take somebody? But you have parents that are sending these kids to school every day. That school only had one teacher. Then the next thing we did, I said, okay, this is a temporary fix. I might not be able to do it for so long. Then let's form an advocacy. Then they gave me some information. We wrote it and sent directly to the governor. Say, hey, this is what is going on. You cannot be doing this, doing that, and you say you are leading us. We voted for you, this and that. Lo and behold, my people, within 2 weeks, he responded. I'm talking of governor of Ondo State. And now they say they're hiring 1,000 high school teachers, 1,100 primary school teachers. See, we can talk and say all these things, but if you put these people in place, what is your own role? What is your role? Rather than just come to platform or maybe write all these things, we have to hold them accountable. You understand? So I felt like this issue of leadership, we owe it to ourselves to do something, just affect one life. Do take a positive step and see how many people will fall in place with you. Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
I see that.
Sorry. I said thank you so much. I always appreciate people who come back from Nigeria and give us reports because it's in depth in terms of what's going on there. I will get back to you.
But the report is biased, Dr. Damage. The report is biased. What is said about what the insecurity in the southern part is not acceptable.
Okay, Ovie.
Not that it's biased. It's not even acceptable.
Hold on, Ovie.
We have so much insecurity in the south. There's a reason for that. Not because we are criminal-minded or not criminal. So that is not acceptable.
All right, Ovie, thank you. So this is what we're going to do. We're going to go off what you just said and start a conversation about Tinubu extended stay in Europe. This is why it's important. The first statement he made when people were killed in Plateau, I think it was early in the week, was to say to the governor of the state, you go and settle your underlying communal issues that is causing that. This is a governor of a state. The people who are causing the problem were people coming into the country, as far as we know. The governor of the state has no power to go to the border and stop people from coming into the country to come and kill his people. He has no police. He has no military. And the president of the country just issued that statement.
Rudolph, sorry to cut you short. Can you just be the moderator? Let the
rest I just want to lay out the premise so that people will know where.
Yeah, you're overlaying the premise. That's why I cut it.
All right. Righteous man, go ahead. I don't mind. I don't mind. I'd like to listen to you guys.
Yeah, Rudolph, thank you. Pasat, Happy New Year and Happy Easter, my brother. It's been a long time. Yeah. So, the problem of Nigeria is leadership. If anyone says the problem of Nigeria is not leadership, from the top, I'm not a baby. Just like I laid the foundation when I was first given opportunity to speak. I've seen many Christmas and many Easters. If Nigeria if Nigeria was what it was when I was in Germany, I wouldn't have returned back to Nigeria. I wouldn't have. I returned back from Germany to Nigeria because the leadership of Nigeria at the time I lived in Germany was okay. You could bring a 2,000 Dutch mark and invest in Nigeria and make good money. So when we are talking about leadership, what my brother presented was a partial and incomprehensive analysis of Nigeria. Basically because he's part of the elite class. He has opportunity to be in a society that is well organized, where your labor is rewarded meritoriously. Unlike Nigeria, where the policy of the government, of the leadership of Nigeria, the policies are against the poor masses. I know how much I spend every month in payment of salary for my workers, in maintenance of some official things in my office and my home. Those things that I undertake as of today, since APC came on board, I can't achieve them 25%. I have laid off some of my best workers because I can't afford to pay them again because of the evil policy of APC. APC have the leadership of this country, which have been piloted by APC since 2015, have made Naira to be weak to the extent that Gambian currency is higher than the Naira. What does Gambia have? Only tourism. But their currency is stronger than the Naira. Who did it? It is the leadership of Nigeria. It has fallen to the ground. Look at our judiciary. Look at how the leadership of Nigeria has influenced the judiciary to the extent that the Supreme Court rule or judgment cannot be obeyed again. That people will begin to manipulate and subject the Supreme Court ruling to different interpretations. It was never like that in the history of this country. The Nigerian of today does not offer a room or a space for a poor man to rise. If you do not belong to the class, you are gone. This is a system that rewards those who are committing crimes. This is a system that favors tribalism and religious bigotry. This is a system that does not recognize the sweat of that policeman that is under the sun 24 hours. But he will recognize somebody who does not have a proven school certificate and he enjoys billions, if not trillions. What is the fault of leadership? This is a system. The truth does not see the light of the day. It is the fault of leadership. Let me refer us back to 1983. Was 1983 when General Buhari and Diago took over. Because we have a good leadership then, there was what was called war against indiscipline. People go to the public tap and they queue to fetch water. That is the evidence of good leadership. Do we have it today? They have bastardized everything. How many of the politicians today can prove that they went to school? Look at what is happening in the house. Look at bribery and corruption. So my brother, the problem of Nigeria is leadership problem, and it has fallen to the ground, to the lowest level since I was born.
Thank you.
And until Nigerians comes up to agree, to have a consensus, to say that we have to rescue this country from these people, I don't think, I mean, next year will be worse than this year. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I'll come to you, Chim.
Let me just take a minute.
Hold on. Let's
Okay.
get Chim, maybe two more people, and then you can respond. Chim, go ahead.
Okay.
All right, thank you, Rudolph. Well done, righteous man. And building together, it's nice to meet you. You're welcome to the platform. I hope we'll be able to have a constructive conversation, and hopefully I'll be able to convince you so that I understand your patriotic sentiment, but I want us to be able to be rational in looking at these issues properly. There are certain questions I always ask us Nigerians, and please, I want people to be objective. Majority of us, including you, myself, we live in diaspora. We don't live back home. But I've always asked Nigerians to please do a bit of census back home. I'm not saying census of government functionaries, but census of private individuals like you and I. And where am I going with that? How many Americans or Britons leave Britain or America and go to Nigeria to go and live? You practically will not find any. Why? Because their nation is working, doing well. The Americans you see or the British citizens you see in Nigeria are predominantly people who are working for either an oil company, they are expatriates, or they are working for the embassy, or they're working for one company or the other. You will never see a Briton intentionally pack his bag, he's moving to Nigeria. But you will see droves of Nigerians and Africans packing their bag and moving abroad because our system is not working. Let me put that aside. So you talked about leadership, and I'm happy you gave you gave your CV here. Very impressive CV. You've been in the armed forces of the United States. You worked in the Air Force. You're retired. You're well taken care of. You're a veteran. You've also been in the police service in New York or whichever city it is where you live. So you're doing all those things, and I appreciate all of that. But I don't know if you were opportune this past week to see a video of Nigerians who serve in the American army, who were eating sumptuous meal. Look at, if you see the plate of food they were eating, it was circulating all over the place. Can I ask you if any of our Boko Haram fighting military officers anywhere in Nigeria are being treated properly in that way? So is it the fault of those military boys who are serving that they're being not taken care of properly? For those of us who come here, I'm projecting, I'm seeing people making comments and calling people complaining and all that. I leave you to all those conversations. Then thirdly, how many American presidents or British prime ministers or German chancellors or Canadian prime ministers have you ever heard of? Picked up his bag, flew to Nigeria or Soweto in South Africa to do a working visit. If you have known any, please, I want you to educate me on this. That you have seen an American president. He was supposed to go on holiday. Tinubu is entitled to go on his holiday. Anybody who works goes on holiday. But have you ever heard any American president pack his bag? British prime minister, German chancellor, and I can go on, or Japanese prime minister, pack his bag and go anywhere, and they say he's on a working visit. Then lastly, security, and Rudolph brought it up. The Nigerian constitution does not give any state or local government chairman the capacity to control the security processes in their locations. You and I know this. Mayor Eric of New York is in charge of the New York police, not the governor of New York. The police is a creation of the municipalities in the Western world. I live in Calgary. Calgary police is not controlled by the premier of my province. It's controlled by the mayor of Calgary. The budget for the Calgary Police Service, everything about them is local, and they do it. Calgary Police is not involved in activities in Lethbridge, which is the next city next to me. Everything is local, and the mayor and council manage them. Does the governor of Plateau State or the governor of any state at all control the security apparatuses in their state? The answer is no. So if Tinubu is responsible for appointing the IGP, and the IGP is responsible for appointing the commissioners of police, where does the security responsibility lie? Of course, it lies with the president. It doesn't lie with the governor of Ondo State, nor the governor of Plateau State, nor the governor of Benue State. It doesn't. So if our president will wake up at a time, let me end here. I'm not sure which of the nations it was, there was a crisis in that country. And as soon as the president or prime minister heard the issue, he was in an important G7 meeting. He left that place and headed back home to go and attend to the issues. Our president, let's say he traveled for good reason, whether it is for health reason or he traveled for, as he called it, working visit. Instantly, the moment he hears there's a crisis in any part of his country, he should pack his bag and head home to go and take control of that situation. For as much as he's not able to do that, he shows a high degree of irresponsibility. So let's stop coming here to come and defend. Nobody is happy that Nigeria is not working. I don't have a problem with the guy in Benue State or the guy in Kogi State. I don't on a normal basis. We all come here because we live in the Western world. We see how things are running. And we want our nation back home to run similar way. So when our leaders are not able to do these things, it's a problem for me. You can't say that the governor, that the street urchin or the person in the street is responsible for the issues in his locality. That's not correct. So I think this trying to exonerate Tinubu or exonerate the federal government or government functionaries is misplaced. I don't think it's proper. I think they owe Nigerians that responsibility to take care of what is going on in their country. If Tinubu was responsible, the moment he heard what was happening in Benue and Plateau, he should have come back home to take charge of the situation. Thank you, Rudolph.
All right, thank you, Chim. I will let Building Together respond to that, and then we go to Stay Humble and Pansat. They may have something else for you to respond to, but I don't want you to forget what the two guys said first. Go ahead.
Thank you so very much. I truly appreciate people that spoke after me. And but one thing I want to take away from their conversation, I think they misunderstood the point I was making here. I was talking about leadership, and I tried to bring it to our doorsteps. That rather than pointing finger, you as an individual, you're also a leader. That is the point I was making. That as much as we kept saying the leaders, I always tell people, the young guy who is my rep today, last year, he was not the rep. He was still one of us. And we're saying the leaders. Today, he's one of them. The same thing with, let's say, the senator is a new senator. He was not the senator 2 years ago. He was also ordinary. So the point I was making is I'm not really saying Nigeria is working or not working, but rather than pointing fingers, we as on our own can also start making changes, making differences from our own locality. But when I listen to Righteous Man and Chim, you guys are talking, now you get into structure. If we want to talk security, it's a different ballgame. You understand? When you want to talk about leadership, on its own, it's a different ballgame. We cannot just marry all of them together. You made mention of Mayor Eric being in charge of the police in New York. He didn't just wake up overnight to take up that responsibility. There was a structure in place. And just recently, I didn't know it before, that even the governor has the power to remove the mayor. But if that happens in Nigeria, just like we're talking about this issue of emergency rule or whatever, Everybody was making noise. But here is a structure that is in place that can happen. The ordinary person didn't know. And when it came to the point that the governor has to use that power, she decided that is a discretionary power on her own to do it or not to do it. But at the time, if she had removed the mayor, people like us would be saying, wow, he was an elected mayor by almost 9 million people. Why would one lady somewhere? Structure in place. Somebody was talking about, 1983, righteous man. I went to school in Ahmadu Bello University, 1988. I was the best JAM candidate for my state, Ondo State. But you know what? When I got to the north, they said I needed a JAM letter from ABU, not the JAM letter from JAM. I had the JAM letter from JAM, but I could not get admission into ABU because they did it different. That was as far back as 1987. We have to go through a whole lot of things. Wasted about 2 years going to maybe whatever school before I was able to get admission into medical school. All these things were in place before. You're talking about the era of 83, but you and I are the one fighting that is a military rule. So how can you have a military rule doing whatever they're doing that today you are embracing, but we don't want such rule anymore? No, we have to redefine the way we see things. It is us that are making the rule now. This person cannot just go and say this and that. When you talk about security, I, for one, security, even if it's possible, local government security, because that is what we do here, But at the same time, as much as you talk about NYPD, which is local to New York City, we also have state. We also have. But if Tinubu is not doing, what is that?
What? Oh, God.
So if Tinubu is not doing that, yeah, nonsense. So if Tinubu is not doing it, it's not the problem of Tinubu that I'm saying, though he is in a position to change it, but that structure has never been in place before today. So we need to look at it from that perspective. If we have state police before this administration, he wouldn't come overnight and turn it over. But you and I can start that noise, that fight from your own local area. Leadership is bottom up. That is my own definition of leadership. And that is the point I'm saying. But you are describing a country that has structure, that build institution. But we came from a place that build individual. And that was why we have these problems.
Rudolph, there's nothing you can do about that. It's happened. So we just move on. Let's just move on. Let's just move on.
The guy said he want to talk about teacher in Ghana.
You just have to be careful who you bring in. That's what it means.
How do I know who they are? I don't know who. The guy was sending me a message. Well, listen, guys. He was sending a message on the private chat that he's a teacher from Uganda. He wanted to talk about something. That was
Nigeria.
All right. Let's take a break. We're gonna come back. I'm so sorry, guys.